Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to talk about the Braxtons. Now, I said that I was not going to review the show. Um, if I spoke about it, when I spoke about it, I would probably just speak about certain clips that probably went viral, or talk about the clips that I saw on Instagram. However, um, I have to admit, for me, the Braxtons is a really good reality show. I think these are just my thoughts. When I think about what the Braxtons are deciding to put out there to be dissected and pulled apart in every direction, and we're all looking at it under a microscope. When I compare that to the other reality shows that are out, even though the Braxtons, I have not watched an episode where I have not cried. The first episode, I didn't cry because I was trying my hardest not to cry. But girl, if I just would have let it go, girl, it just would have came. But if there's only 3 episodes, I boohooed the second episode, cried this episode, right? So even though it's going to be an emotional season, um, I really think that this is like real reality TV. It's a produced show. They have producers, they have showrunners, they have cameras and mics. But I just think that it's a difference in what we see from what I see on like a Love and Hip Hop, what I see on a Real Housewives. Like I feel like this is like a real reality show. Sad, but still a real reality show. I really do feel that way. If you watch the Braxtons, will you be triggered? Probably so. Will you cry? If you're sensitive like me, probably so. If you have experienced death recently, not you personally, okay? Okay. Well, if you have a loved one who's passed away recently, will you cry? More than likely, because you'll start thinking about that person who passed away, right? But it's a good show. The Braxtons is really a good show, in my opinion. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So we just gonna talk. We just gonna talk. My hands a little ashy. Let me put some lotion on. Hold up. The girls be talking about my hands sometimes. You know your hands is ashy, girl, because I wash them. Do you wash yours? Okay. And sometimes I forget to put lotion on. Every time I go in the restroom, I wash my hands. Okay. Even when I ain't been in the restroom, sometimes I just like my hands are dirty and I need to wash them. Okay. Anyways, no, but for real. Okay. So Trina, Tawanda, and Miss Evelyn meet up for lunch, and they're just basically talking about Kevin Jr. And let me just say something. One thing I have noticed, and I remember Tawanda then referring to Tawanda as the responsible one. Remember in the beginning of the Braxtons where they all had a title? Tracy's title was a wannabe. Quiet as it's kept. That's why we're gonna get into that grief session in a little bit. Um, and Tawanda's title was the responsible one. I can see why Tawanda could. Tawanda is responsible. I could see Tawanda being responsible for the sisters at one point, and probably for the entire family. If you watch the show, you see who Kevin Jr. called when he was in jail. Tawanda. When before he went to jail, what did Miss E say? Tawanda, go call him. Tawanda, go check on him. Tawanda, right? I think Tawanda is in a space now when it comes to her sisters, specifically Tamar, where, girl, I'm tired of being the responsible one. I'm going to be here for Kevin because his mother just passed away, right? But other than that, any other grown person, you really, girl, whatever it is, that's what it is. I feel like that's what Tawanda is with Tamar. However, I have something to say about Tawanda in a little bit. Um, Trina says that she's going to go see Spirit again, which was a grief counselor. I think Spirit did a great job. Girl, girl, quiet as this girl. I almost hit up Spirit and said, girl, do you do Zoom calls? Okay. Anyways, um, so Tawanda, not being funny, suggested Trina not only go see Spirit, but girl, you should probably go like once a week. I don't think that's bad because Trina is carrying a lot around where I don't think just a couple of sessions will help Trina. She needs to go, girl, yeah, once a week. Tawanda says in the confessional, are are we not getting along or are we just processing Tracy's death? See, Tawanda? Now this is what I said. Tawanda, y'all not getting along. Yes, y'all are processing Tracy's death. And now, because of Tracy's death, there are other rabbit holes y'all are gonna have to go down. Especially with you filming this reality show. Now you're going to grief counseling, and what from what Trina said, since Tracy passed away, y'all have never really had a conversation as a group. That was the first conversation y'all had as a group, I guess, as it pertains to Tracy's passing. So y'all don't get along because y'all don't get along, Tawanda. And I got something and I got something for Miss E. Hello. But Tawanda was right. I feel like Tawanda was right. Either we're gonna put stuff in the past and respect boundaries, like Tamar has drawn a line in the sand with Tawanda. She did, but she wanted Tawanda to beg. And Tawanda said no. Y'all need to go back and watch that conversation at the grief session. I'm telling y'all, Tamar Tamar has drawn a line in the sand. She wants Tawanda to beg for her sisterhood, and Tawanda is like, girl, if that's what your boundary is, that's what your boundary is. If you have cut off your access to me, if you have cut off access to you when it comes to me, then girl, it is what it is. And Tamar wants Tawanda to beg. That's why she was like, she don't care. She don't care. Because you want her to beg. And Tawanda's like, no. Go back and watch. Because Spirit said, how does it feel knowing that you don't have the same access to her, that you once had? That's what she said. And Tamar was like, she don't care. She don't care. Anyways, Miss Evelyn. Miss Evelyn said she saw a side of them prior to the cameras. So basically, she's trying to blame the show on, I guess, them not being as close as they used to be. She also said, if one was hurting, all were hurting. They were best friends. See, can we just have listen, can we just call it for what it is? Or are we gonna play these games? I'm not playing these games with y'all because it's 2:19 in the morning. It is girl, it is 2:19. Okay? Miss E is going to have to realize that why her daughters probably love each other, if one of them passed away tomorrow, they will probably grieve. They will probably cry for a few days, even probably for a few months. I really do feel like Miss Evelyn is the reason why they deal with each other the way that they deal with each other. Miss Evelyn has taught those girls to, by hook or by crook, y'all are going to be best friends. Y'all are sisters. This is a sisterhood. Even to the point when Toni said, I think it was the first episode or the second episode, Toni said that when she had her sons, that she was conflicted on who to put first. And she would feel bad if her sisters did not come before her offspring. Do you know how much of sisterhood had to be drilled into their heads? If Toni is saying that when I had my babies, I would feel guilty if I put my children before my sisters. I didn't know who came first because it was always sisterhood, 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 sisterhood. But the gag is, Miss Evelyn, half of the sisters don't like each other. And they only deal with each other because of you. And I said this in my live, and I'm going to say it again. When, not if, because we're all going to die, when Miss Evelyn dies, if it happens before her daughters, they will not fool with each other anymore. The only reason why they even deal with each other as much as they do is one, because of Miss Evelyn, and two, because now they're filming the show. I can almost bet my last $2 that Tawanda and Miss Tamar, honey, Tawanda gonna be over here and Tamar gonna be over here. Right now they're probably here again because of the show and Miss Evelyn. But if Miss Evelyn passes away before they pass away, it's a wrap. I was watching shout out to the diva Erica De Niro TV. She had premiered a video the other day. She was talking about the Braxtons. And like she was saying, the truth of the matter is when Big Mama dies, when the matriarch of the family dies, the family dies. Hello? Catch that D. That's real shit. Because most of the time when the family come around, it's just because, oh, grandmama getting old, granddaddy getting old, grandmama getting old, so girl, we got to come around for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Because when grandmama died, girl, the girls ain't got to come around for Thanksgiving no more. Because I didn't like y'all anyways. Half y'all I can't stand quiet as this kept. The only reason why y'all saw me on Christmas was because Big Mama was still here. She dead now. So I ain't got to come home for Christmas. That's how it be. That's exactly how it be. Facts. Okay? But Miss Evelyn is going to have to accept that she has played a major role in the way that those girls deal with each other. Instead of them being able to really express how they feel, maybe they would even get to a point where they could figure out if we like each other, if we don't like each other, if I want to deal with you, if I don't want to deal with you, if I just want to see you on Christmas. But they can't even do that because they still have to put on a stunt in a show for Miss Evelyn, right? We can't yell, we can't curse, we can't, if whatever we need to do in order to work whatever we need to work out, we can't, because if we yell too much, if mama hear her, she gonna say we doing too much and all y'all doing is yelling and fussing and screaming. Well, girl, what do you expect is gonna happen when you put people in a room that can't stand each other? They're gonna yell, they're gonna cuss, they're gonna scream. And when people can't really get out what they really want to say, they yell even louder. And they cuss more. And they scream louder. Y'all get what I'm saying? All you hear about, and maybe it's because the daddy is not really a part of the show, but all you hear about is Miss E talking about sisterhood, the girls talking about sisterhood. If you go back and watch my reviews from Braxton Family Values, if you have listened to me talk about the Braxton Family Values, I clocked the Braxton clan from day one. I said they are not that close. They may be close, but they not close, like they're trying to paint. I've been said that. And slowly but surely, the people are starting to catch on and say, oh, girl, they really don't fool with each other like that. I've been told y'all that. That was all a show. That was all a show. That was all a show this whole time. I put Miss Evelyn, you have a big role in this. When Toni said she didn't know how to, that's why I talked about the sons. Miss Evelyn does. Toni's getting ready for her residency in Vegas. She's a little nervous because she has health issues. She was supposed to do a residency years ago, and when her lupus flared up, it was a wrap, and so she couldn't do it. So now she's having flashbacks, and with the doctors telling her if she has a heart attack, it's lights out for her. So she's really going through it. They're trying to come up with basically cues to take out a verse in the song, or even just take her off the stage if she can't pull through the entire set. Girl, that would kind of piss me off. I know it sounds selfish. But you know how pissed off I would be if I was in Toni Braxton audience and girl, she singing one of my favorite songs and she was singing, girl, love should have brought you, brought you home last night. It should have been with me. Should have been. And then and all of a sudden she sing one verse and walk off stage. Girl, I'm gonna throw a tomato and hit Toni in the back of her head. Girl, you better bring your black ass back on stage and finish the song. Okay, I want an encore heifer. Okay. Anyways, but shout out to Toni. Toni is that girl. Miss E and Tamar have a cooking show. Can we talk about Tamar? Tamar really is a natural in front of the camera. Tamar is really talented. She really is. Like I see why she was on a talk show. But every time I look at Tamar on this show, oh God, I hate to say it. I am a fan of Tamar's music. I have to say something nice before I say what I'm going to say. I'm a fan of Tamar's music. I think Tamar is a singer. I think Tamar is a songwriter. I think Tamar is a talk show host. I think she's a talented girl. But every time Tamar popped on my screen, all I kept thinking about was she's dumb. That's all I kept thinking about. Well, she's stupid. Girl, you really letting that white man drag you to the dirt like that? Girl, Tommy really got on the internet and said that your white man ate her ass out, told her all of your business. Girl, girl, you really over there crying and acting a fool over that man who sat beside your ops girl, at a basketball game and then recorded it for the world to see. That's all I can think about. I really, really hate that for Tamar. I really do because, girl, you really out in these streets looking crazy. Girl, if I'm gonna look stupid, I'm gonna look stupid just I'm for my day because I just look dumb. But I'm not looking dumb over no man. And then a mediocre white man at that, girl. No shade. Tamar is writing a book, and it is an autobiography, self-help, healing book. Tamar said that she thought the title of her book would she hasn't come up with the title as of yet. One of the titles that she thought about would be Under Construction because she feels as though she has accepted that she's one of those people that may have to be in therapy for, her life's journey, her entire life. Okay. I don't know. I just the therapists out there, y'all help me. Based off of Tamar's life, I'm not saying people that are in therapy. I'm saying we're talking about Tamar specifically. Tamar looks a fool. Tamar looks a fool every time we get on the internet. I don't know how I could not take. I think what I'm trying to say is I couldn't take Tamar seriously if she was trying to tell me about something that could help. Like, girl, you still a walking disaster. Girl, like you not like. Does that make sense? Like, girl, I just don't. I just don't know how it would take a book. If you want to write an autobiography about your life, okay. But I think what threw me for a loop is when she threw in a self-help healing book. I don't know. Because when I think about Tamar and the things that I see and the things that she does and the things that people post, on the blogs online. It's like, girl, you are a mess. It was a self-help. When she threw in self-help, a healing book, I was like, okay, girl, you lost me with that. If you want to write a book about your life, okay. Are you going to tell the truth? That's another thing too. The girl's not going to tell the truth. Are you going to tell the truth about how your fiance was hanging out with your ops and got online and said that he purposely hurt you? And how he ate Tommy's ass out and came and kissed you in the mouth, and you was walking around here with Tommy's pussy juice on your top lip on Monday morning? Are you going to tell that? Are you going to tell the truth? Or are you going to skip over that part? You gonna skip over the part where he was at the basketball game on the sideline, and Tommy got her camera out, and girl, she recorded them and posted it online, and it was all over the Shade Room, who got almost 30 million followers, or probably even more than that, on Neighborhood Talk everywhere. How she said that girl, that white man told her all your business, and she got her ass ate out for the ancestors. Are you gonna say all of that? If you're not gonna tell the truth, then leave the book alone. I just hate this for Tamar because I really, really like Tamar. I really, really do. But like, I just don't like when people look stupid over a man. I don't care if you gay, straight, non-binary. I don't care. I don't like when you look stupid over anybody. I don't give a damn if it was some lesbians. Okay? Good. I just like, why do y'all like looking dumb over people? Because if you're gonna look dumb, just look dumb because you said something stupid yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just hate that for Tamar. I really do. I don't like it. Anyways, Toni's in rehearsal. Toni looks amazing. You know, Toni ain't never been a dancer. Toni has always been a vocalist, but you can tell she's adding in some dance moves into her show. So I think that may be new for Toni. Because again, Toni has never been a dancer. She's always been a vocalist. Baby, that was wearing Toni out in that practice, in that rehearsal. No shade. When I tell you, girl, Toni's wig, I said Toni is rehearsing for the kids, baby. When I tell you, Toni, when I tell that white man had Toni in there doing all types of sweating and huffing and puffing, baby, that wig that Toni had on her head, baby, that wig had been through it that day. You could tell Toni didn't even care because Toni was like, girl, I don't care. Girl, we just got to get through this rehearsal so I can go home. I'm tired. Anyways, so Trina's grief session. It was just sad. That's all I could say. Trina didn't want to open up about certain things. And like, the grief counselor told her, I can only help you if you talk to me. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. If you don't talk to me, then I can't help you. So even the uncomfortable conversations, they have to be had in order for this process to work, basically. Um, there's a clip going around that I want to talk about in another video. And it's about Trina and her husband, Vaughn. Vaughn is unreasonable, and Vaughn is a asshole. So Trina starts to talk about in her grieving session about how she tries to keep control of the thoughts in her head. She tries to stay busy. I think that's a big thing that sometimes we do. Like when people are grieving, they like work out, or they go to they work a lot. You hear people say, "Oh, I'll just go to work," because that's some people, that's their way of trying to block out what's really going on, and so they don't have to really think about what's happening in their life. So Trina's thing is, I can try to block out those thoughts. I guess we're thinking about my sister if I cook, if I watch TV. But like when it's all said and done, when the lights go out, are you in control of those thoughts in your head? And so she said something about, basically she noticed that she was losing control of her thoughts, or I guess like always thinking about something sad. I was crying. I was trying to like write and wipe tears at the same time. It started when Gabe passed away. So for those who don't know, Trina was married um, to a man. They got a divorce, but he passed away. He had cancer. She was married to him, I think, for 16 years. He pretty much, he's not the father of her biological children, but he raised Um, is he not the is he the father of one, or I don't think he's the father of either. I can't remember. I think it might be both. I think it might be both. But he's not the biological father to either one or both of her kids, but he raised the kids from a very young age. So they're pretty much like his kids. Um, when I remember like Gabe like cheating on Trina, I think he was like, it wasn't necessarily him cheating as far as like physically. It was like I think like via the internet. Like I don't know if I don't want to get into all that. But anyways, so he passed away. Trina was grieving when he passed away. She said Vaughn didn't understand it. He didn't like it because she was grieving over another man. Can I say something? And these are just my thoughts. You gonna think how you want to think. I'm gonna think how I want to think. It is what it is. I think that it is absolutely asinine for people to think that just because you are in a marriage or in a relationship, if someone who you used to be in a relationship with, and especially if you were not on horrible terms, it's not like the person was, you know, they had their things in their marriage. And again, I think they got a divorce due to him and his infidelities, right? But I don't think that they were on horrible terms when he passed away. Why do people think that people will not grieve? And why are you so fucking insecure that a dead man bothers you? This man was in this woman's life for almost 20 years. Why would she not grieve? It's like one of those things. I was having a conversation about this, having a conversation about similar to this the other day with one of my friends, and I was just saying how it's kind of like when people get into relationships, they feel as though, oh, excuse me, thank you. Somebody said bless you. I know, thank you. You feel as though because you're in a relationship now, all of a sudden you should be enough. Like if I'm in a relationship, I was about to go into a whole other rant. I'm not going down that road. The point that I'm trying to make is this: I think that is absolutely weird that Trina's husband had a problem, and we're going to talk about that clip that went viral in another video. That Trina's husband had a problem with Trina grieving over Gabe. Like, how dare you cry for another man? Because because he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. And you're so bothered that she's crying because she's thinking about someone who she used to love, who raised her kids, and you over here, why you crying over another nigga? Because he's dead. I know for a fact if I were in a relationship and my husband boyfriend found out that someone who he used to be in a relationship with had died and they were grieving, I would not be worked up on why are you crying because he dead. Because he's dead. Girl, like I don't get it. It's kind of like when people, it's so weird. It's kind of like when people get pissed off at Jada Pinkett Smith because she's crying over Tupac. She knew Tupac before she knew Will Smith. And that's her friend. That was her friend. So why would she still not get emotional thinking about her friend who's dead? Because y'all think that when you get into these relationships or these marriages, nobody else counts. Fuck everybody else. Everybody who came before me, you better not cry if them hoes die. What you crying for? They dead. Exactly, sir, they're dead. You're like, I just think it's weird. I really, really do. And then I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, so the grievance session, it was cute. I mean, it wasn't cute, but it was a grievance session. I'm getting worked up. She's fearful that basically with Trina dying, I guess we don't want to think about death, but that's something that is going to tap everybody on their shoulders, both of them. Okay, okay. Um, and so I guess with Trina's death, it makes I mean, with Tracy's death, it makes Trina start to think about, girl, well, if Trina died, then girl, we all can die, which we all. You said, but you start to think once it hits close to home, girl, it hits close to home. Okay. Vaughn sits down with Trina, and this is why I gotta call out Trina over her fuck shit. Vaughn sits down with Trina because they're packing because they're gonna go check on little Kevin Jr., not little Kevin Jr. because he hasn't been answering his phone. He got out of jail, but he hasn't called anyone, so now they're worried. So they're gonna fly to Baltimore to see what's going on. He calls towards the end of the episode, and I think he said that they took his phone and he have a way to get in contact with him. But girl, I don't know. Anyways, I put Vaughn gives me unreasonable. Trina doesn't want to share because it's draining. He goes and he talks to Trina. He says, "We never talked about your session the other day." I really feel, I'm sorry. I really feel the only reason why he even asked Trina about the session was so he could hear if she talked about Gabe or not. I don't think he gave a fuck about that grievance session. I don't think he gave a damn about what she talked about outside of if she talked about Gabe. He said he noticed that when she got home, that she's been kind of standoffish. Trina says that in the confessional, she doesn't really want to talk about the session because it can be draining. No, you don't want to talk about the session because then you have to mention that you mentioned Gabe, and you know how your husband feels about that. Which this is the bullshit that Trina was on. Trina then says she tries to deflect by bringing Toni up and saying, it's just a lot going on. Toni, she let us know that she's sick and it must be really, really bad because basically, in a nutshell, I guess she never really tells us, when it comes to her health. And so for her to tell us, it must be really, really bad. She says Toni really doesn't have someone who she can talk to, right? Like I have you. I can pillow talk with you. Um, I can have open dialogue with you, but you really can't. Because if you really could on some real shit, you would have told him, well, this is what happened in therapy. These are the things that I discussed. But you don't want to talk about it because you know your husband is an asshole when it comes to Gabe. So you deflected and you brought up Toni. That's what I caught. Now what did y'all catch? If your husband, if you really had open dialogue with your husband like you say you do, then you wouldn't have no problem bringing up what you really talked about in therapy. If your husband really was supportive, because even if Trina's husband was supportive, if it was an open dialogue, if it was pillow talk, she would have felt comfortable enough having a conversation with her husband. But the reason why it's going to be draining is because, girl, you're gonna have to get into an argument with that nigga about your old nigga. Hello, that died due to cancer. I'm sorry, that's how I saw it. I'm sorry. I understand that if you go to therapy and you're like, I don't even, you just come home and your mom and your husband or wife asking you how you like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it. It was a mess. I'll talk about it in a couple of days. Girl, from what I understand, it's been a couple of days. I just think that if you really have a strong support system, especially when it comes to your husband, wife, friends, whomever, if they're asking you about something and you say, girl, it's one thing for you to be like, girl, I do not want to talk about it because, girl, that shit wore me out. Right? But I don't like how Trina tried to act like she has this open dialogue with this man and how they have this pillow talk when the truth of the matter is, girl, y'all really don't. Anytime you open with that man, he probably biting your head off. That man ain't worried. That man was not worried about that grievance. He was worried about Gabe being mentioned. I'm telling y'all. Sorry. Sorry, I sound like an asshole. Is it? Am I sound like an asshole because it's late? It's 2:48 in the morning. Anyways, I gotta go. Bye, y'all. Is that it? Yeah, that's it, y'all. It's gonna have to be it. I'm tired of talking. Bye, y'all.